Hi, my name is Matthew Babbitt, and this is my presentation for my final project for Ecology Lab, where I looked into whether there were variations in the percentage of people masking across months. Studies have shown that in winter months there tends to be an increase in the occurrence of respiratory diseases among populations, which is backed up by an increase in primary care visits dealing with respiratory issues. Additionally, it has been shown in some studies that cooler temperatures in those colder months increases the likelihood of the spread of respiratory diseases among a population. One known way of helping to mitigate the spread of respiratory illness among a population is the use of preventative measures such as masking, which would lead to it being more advantageous in time periods where there is a higher likelihood of respiratory illness. Therefore, it was hypothesized that among an observed population, there would be an increase in the percentage of people masking as time progressed towards the colder months, due to an increase in disease mitigation and prevention efforts. Across the period of one college semester, researchers collected observational data on populations in various locations at varying times throughout the week and took note of the prevalence of masking among the observed groups of people. After the data was collected and compiled into a proper format, an ANOVA test was run on the data to determine if there was any significant statistical difference in masking in the population across the period of 4 months. The resultant outcome yielded a p-value of 0.0277, which was less than 0.05, indicating that there was no significant statistical difference. Therefore, it was not necessary to run a Tukey-Kramer post-hoc test. The data was also put into a bar graph showing the average percentage of the population masking each month, which can be seen here. Although the graph shows a trend that is contrary to the hypothesis, the difference between the months was not statistically significant and thus cannot be used to draw conclusions. What this all means is that the result indicates that the hypothesis was not supported by the observational data collected. It would be beneficial to have future research into why you do not see an increase in masking leading into seasons where there is a higher risk of respiratory illness, why the observational data tended to show a trend towards the opposite of what is to be expected, and how better to encourage behavior that would aid in the prevention of disease spread among populations. All of these things would help to fulfill some of the goals laid out by the UN for sustainable development, most importantly those of a healthy society via the prevention of disease spread, life on land, since humans are a land-dwelling being and the interactions between humans and other species allows for further vectors of disease transmission, and reducing inequalities as pandemic diseases tend to have a greater impact on minority and disadvantaged populations within a society. Here are the resources that I referenced in my video. Feel free to check them out for further information if you're interested. Thank you all for watching.
Created using Powtoon.